Good morning, students. Today's class we will see about the diagnosis of pregnancy. Duration of pregnancy. The duration of pregnancy has traditionally been calculated by the clinicians in terms of 10 lunar months or 9 calendar months and 7 days, or 280 days or 40 weeks calculated from the first day of the last menstrual period. This is called the menstrual or gestational age. But fertilization usually occurs 14 days prior to the expected missed period, and in previously normal cycle of 28 duration, it's about 14 days after the first day of the period. Thus, the true gestation period is to be calculated from subtracting 14 days from the 280 days, that is 266 days. This is called the fertilization or ovulatory age, and this is widely used by the embryologist. The first trimester or the first 12 weeks. The subjective symptoms include following are the presumptive symptoms of early months of pregnancy. The first one is amenorrhea. During the reproductive period, an otherwise healthy individual having previous normal periods is unlikely due to pregnancy unless proved otherwise. However, cyclic bleeding may occur up to 12 weeks of pregnancy until the decidual space is obliterated by the fusion of decidua vera with Decidua capsularis. Such bleeding is usually scanty, lasting for a shorter duration than her usual and roughly corresponds with the date of expected period. This is termed as a placental sign. This type of bleeding should not be confused with commonly met pathological bleeding that is threatened abortion. Pregnancy, however, may occur in a woman who is previously amenorrheic, that means during lactation and during puberty before the first menstruation occurs. Second is morning sickness, otherwise known as nausea and vomiting, is inconsistently present about 70% of cases, more often the first pregnancy than subsequent one. It is usually appears soon following the missed period and rarely lasts beyond 16 weeks. Its intensity varies from nausea on rising from the bed to loss of appetite or even vomiting, but it usually does not affect the health status of the mother. Third, frequency of maturation is quite troublesome symptoms during 8 to 12th week of pregnancy. It is due to the resting of the bulky uterus on the fundus of the bladder because of exaggerated anteverted position of the uterus, and secondly it's because of congestion of the bladder mucosa and change in maternal osmoregulation caused by increased thirst and polyuria. As the uterus straightens up after 12th week, the symptom disappears. The fourth one is breast discomfort in the form of feeling of fullness and prickling sensation is evident as early as 6th to 8th week, especially in primigravida. The fifth one is fatigue is frequently a symptom which may occur early in pregnancy. The objective signs include the breast changes are valuable only in a primigravida, as in multipara the breasts are enlarged and often contain milk for years. The breast changes are evident between 6 to 8 weeks. There is an enlargement with muscular engorgement evidenced by delicate veins visible under the skin. The nipple and the areola, that is primary, become more pigmented, especially in dark women. Montgomery tubercles become prominent. The Montgomery tubercles are the sebaceous glands which found around the secondary areola. Thick yellowish discoloration means secretion or otherwise known as colostrum can be expressed as early as by from 12th week. Per abdomen, the uterus remain a pelvic organ until 12th week. It may be just felt per abdomen as a suprapubic bulge. Pelvic changes. The pelvic changes are diverse and appear at different periods. Collectively, these may be informative in arriving at a diagnosis of pregnancy. The first one is Jacquemus or Chadwick sign. It is a dusky hue of the vestibule and anterior vaginal wall visible at about 8th week of pregnancy. The discoloration is due to local vascular congestion. The vaginal sign. Apart from the bluish discoloration of the anterior vaginal wall, the walls become softened and copious non-irritating mucoid discharge appears at 6th week. There is an increased pulsation felt to the lateral fornices at 8th week called as Osiander sign. The cervical signs include cervix becomes soft as early as 6th week, that is Goodell sign, a little earlier in multiparia. The pregnant cervix feel like a lips of the mouth while a non-pregnant state like tip of the nose. On speculum examination, the bluish discoloration of the cervix is visible. It is due to increased vascularity. The uterine signs, the shape, size, shape and consistency. The uterus is enlarged to the size of hen's egg at 6th week, size of a cricket ball at 8th week and size of a fetal head by 12th week. The pyriform shape of non-pregnant uterus become globular by 12 weeks. There may be asymmetrical enlargement of the uterus if there is lateral implantation. And this is called Pisacus signs where one half is more firm than other half. As pregnancy advances, the symmetry restored, the pregnant uterus feels soft and elastic. Hagar's sign. It is present in two-thirds of cases. It can be demonstrated between 6 and 10 weeks, so a little earlier in multipara. This sign is based on the fact that upper part of the body of the uterus is enlarged but by growing uterus. The lower part of the body is empty and extremely soft, and the cervix is comparatively firm because of variation of consistency on bimanual examination, that is two fingers in the anterior fornix and the abdominal fingers behind the uterus is abdominal and vaginal fingers seems to oppose below the body of uterus. Examination must be gentle to avoid the risk of abortion. This is the way we do the to elucidate the Hagar sign. Palmer's sign. Regular and rhythmic uterine contractions can be elicited during bimanual examination as early as 4 to 8 weeks. Palmer, in 1949, first described it as its valuable sign when elicited. To elicit the test, the uterus is cupped between internal fingers and external fingers for about 2 to 3 minutes. During the contraction, the uterus becomes firm and well defined, but during relaxation, becomes soft and ill defined. While the contraction phase lasts for about 30 seconds, with increasing duration of pregnancy, the relaxation phase increases. After 10th week, the relaxation phase is so much increased that the test is difficult to perform. The immunological test for diagnosis of pregnancy. The principle of this test include pregnancy tests depend upon detection of antigen, that is HCG, present in the maternal urine or serum with the antibody either polyclonal or monoclonal available commercially. Tests used are immunoassays without radioisotopes. Agglutination inhibits the test using latex. The materials for this test are supplied in the kits containing all reagents needed to do a test. The principle of agglutination inhibition test: one drop of urine is mixed with one drop of a solution that contains HCG antibody. If the HCG is not present in the urine sample, that woman is not pregnant, the antibody remains free. Now, one drop of the another solution that contains latex particle coated with HCG is added. Agglutination of latex particle can be observed easily this time. Therefore, pregnancy test is negative if there is agglutination. On the other hand, if HCG is present in the urine sample, it would bind available antibody. There would be no further agglutination when the solution containing HCG coated with latex particle were added. Therefore, pregnancy test is positive if there is no agglutination. Next is ultrasonography. Transdecidual gestational sac is identified as early as 29 to 35 days of gestation. Fetal viability and gestational age is determined by detecting the following structures by transvaginal ultrasonography: gestational sac and yolk sac by 5th menstrual weeks, fetal pole and cardiac activity by 6 weeks, embryonic movement by 7 weeks. Fetal gestation age is the best determined by measuring crown rump length between 7 and 12 weeks. There will be a variation of plus or minus 5 days. Doppler effect on ultrasound can pick up fetal heart rate reliably by 10th week. The instrument is small, handy, and cheap. The gestational sac must be differentiated from pseudo gestational sac. The second trimester, that means between 13 to 28 weeks. The symptoms include subjective symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and frequency of maturation usually subside while amenorrhea continues. The new features appears, that is quickening, that is feeling of life for the first fetal moment, denoted means recognized by the mother. This usually felt about 18th week, about 2 weeks earlier in multipara. The appearance is useful guide to calculate expected date of delivery with a reasonable accuracy. Progressive enlargement of lower abdomen by growing uterus. The general examination shows chloasma. Chloasma is the pigmentation of the forehead and cheek appear by about 24th week, otherwise known as mask of pregnancy. The breast changes include breast is more enlarged with prominent veins under the skin. Secondary areola, especially demarcated in primigravida, usually appears at about 20th week. Montgomery tubercles are prominent and extended to secondary areola. Colostrum becomes thick and yellowish by 16th week, and variable degree of stria may be visible in advancing week. Abdominal examination. The inspection linear pigmented zone, that is linea nigra, extending from symphysis pubis to the cephistianum, may be visible as early as 20th week. Stria, both pink and white of varying degree, are visible in lower abdomen, more towards the flanks. Palpation, fundal height is increased with progressive enlargement of the uterus. Approximate duration of pregnancy can be ascertained by noting the height of the uterus in relation to different levels of abdomen. The following formula is a useful guide for the purpose. That means by 16th week it reaches the midway between umbilicus and cephistianum. By 24th week it reaches the umbilicus. By 36th week it reaches the cephistianum, and gradually it will decrease it. The height of uterus is midway between the symphysis pubis and umbilicus by 16th week. At the level of umbilicus by 24th week, and at the junction of lower third of upper two-thirds of the distance between by umbilicus and the ensiform cartilage by 28th week. Uterus feels soft and elastic and becomes ovoid in shape. Braxton Hicks contractions are evident. Palpation of fetal parts can be felt distinctly by 20th week. The findings are of value not only to diagnose pregnancy but also to identify the presentation and position of the fetus in later weeks. Active fetal movements can be felt at intervals by placing the hand over the uterus as early as 20th week. Not only gives a positive evidence of pregnancy but also a live fetus. Intensity varies from faint flutter in early months to stronger movements in later months. External ballotment is usually elicited as early as 20th week when fetus is relatively smaller than volume of the amniotic fluid. It is difficult to elicit in obese patient, and in case with scanty liquor amni, it is best elicited in breech presentation with head at the fundus. Auscultation. The fetal heart sound is the most conclusive clinical sign of pregnancy. With auditory stethoscope, it can be detected between 18 to 20th week. These sounds resemble like tick of a watch under a pillow. Its location varies with the position of the fetus. The rate varies from 110 to 160 beats per minute. Two other sounds are confused with fetal sounds. Those are uterine shuffle. It's a soft blowing and systolic murmur heard low down at the sides of uterus, west on the left side. The sound is synchronized with the maternal pulse and due to increase in blood flow to the dilated uterine vessel. It can be heard in a big uterine fibroid also. Phonic or fetal shuffle is due to rush of blood to the umbilical artery. It is a soft blowing murmur synchronized with the fetal heart sound. Vaginal examination. The bluish discoloration of vulva, vagina, cervix is more evident, so also softening of cervix. Internal ballotment can be elicited between 16 to 20th week. The fetus is too small before 16th week and too large to displace after 28th week. However, the test may not be elicited in case of scanty liquoramni where the fetus is transversely placed. Investigations include imaging studies, sonography, routine sonography at 18 to 20 weeks permit a detailed survey of fetal anatomy, placental localization, and integrity of cervical canal. Gestational age is determined by measuring a biparietal diameter, head circumference, abdominal circumference, and femur length. The most accurate is when it is done between 12 to 20 weeks, that is, a variation of plus or minus 8 days are allowed. Fetal organ anatomy is surveyed to detect any malformation. Fetal viability is determined by real-time ultrasound. Absence of fetal cardiac active motion confirms fetal death. Magnetic resonance image (MRI) can be used for fetal anatomy survey, biometry, and evaluation of complex malformation. Radiological evidence of fetal skeletal shadow may be visible as early as 16th week. Later trimester or the third trimester, that means between 29 to 40 weeks. The symptoms include amenorrhea persist, enlargement of abdomen is progressive which produce some mechanical discomfort to patients, just palpitation or dyspnea following exertion. Lighting, that is at about 38 weeks, especially in primigravida, a sense of relief of the pressure symptoms is obtained due to engagement of the presenting part. Frequency of maturation reappears. Fetal movements are more pronounced. Signs include cutaneous changes more prominent with increased pigmentation and stria. Uterine shape is changed from cylindrical to spherical beyond 36th week. Fundal height, the distance between umbilicus and the Ensiform cartilage is divided into three equal parts. The fundal height corresponds to the junction of upper and middle third at 32 weeks up to the level of ensiform cartilage by 36th week. It comes down to 32-week level by 40 week because engagement of the presenting part occurs. To determine whether the height of the uterus corresponds to 32 weeks or 40 weeks, engagement of the head should be tested. The head is floating, it is 32 weeks of pregnancy, and head is engaged, it is 40 weeks of pregnancy. Symphysis of fundal height, the upper border of fundus is located by ulnar border of the left hand, and this point is marked. The distance between upper border of the symphysis pubis to the marked point is measured by a tape in centimeter. After 24th week, symphysis fundal height measured in centimeter correspond to number of weeks up to 36 weeks. A variation of plus or minus 2 centimeter is accepted as normal. Variation beyond the normal range need further evaluation. Braxton Hicks contractions are more evident. Fetal movements are easily felt. Palpation of fetal parts and their identification become much easier. Live presentation and position of the fetus are determined. FHS is heard distinctly in areas corresponding to presentation and position of the fetus. FHS may not be audible in case of maternal obesity, polyhydramnios, occiput posterior positions, or certainly in IUD. Sonography, gestational age estimation by bipalatal diameter, head circumference, femur length is less accurate, variation of between a plus or minus 3 weeks. Fetal growth assessment can be made provided accurate dating scan has been done in first or second trimester. Fetal abdominal circumference, the level of umbilical vein is used to assess gestational age and fetal growth profile, that means IUGR or macrosomia. Fetal weight estimation can be done using the tables. An amniotic fluid volume assessment is done to detect oligohydramnios, that is AFI below 5, or polyhydramnios AFI above 25. Placental anatomy, that means location, the fundus or the placenta previa, thickness, or other anomalies are noted. Other informations like fetal life number, presentation, organ anatomy as done in the first and second trimester surveyed again. So these are the possible, otherwise known as the presumptive sign of pregnancy, that means early breast changes, amenorrhea, morning sickness, blood irritability, quickening. The time of occurrence is given and differential diagnosis is given. Second is the probable signs are presence of HCG in the blood and urine, softened isthmus, bluishing of the means vagina, pulsation in the foreign, otherwise known as Osiander sign, uterine growth, Braxton Hicks contraction, the time of occurrence and differential diagnosis. Then the positive diagnosis are means visualization of fetus, FHS by ultrasound scope, fetal movements. So there is no alternative or there is no differential diagnosis for this, so it is a positive or confirmatory diagnosis of pregnancy. So the presumptive signs and symptoms include, just repeating the means faucet matters, that is amenorrhea, frequency of maturation, morning sickness, fatigue, breast changes, skin changes, quickening. The probable signs are abdominal enlargement, Braxton Hicks contractions, external allotment, outlining the fetus, changes in the size, shape, and consistency of the uterus, Jacquemus sign, softening of the cervix, Osiander sign, internal allotment, immunological test. The positive or absolute signs are palpation of fetal parts by and perception of active fetal movements by examiner at about 20th week. Auscultation of middle heart sound, ultrasound evidence of embryo as early as 6th week and later on the fetus. Radiological demonstration of the fetal skeleton at 16th week onwards. Thank you. Thank you for listening.